Business Leader Summit 2023, Allianz Miko, Milan, 2 days of event and meetings with the C-level of today and tomorrow in order to talk about the business of the future. In this moment, we are here together with Philip Hudson, who is the founder of The Art of Procurement. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much. Thanks for welcoming me here today.
So, Philip, today we want to understand how to transform the procurement in order to have 10x impacts on the business, obviously positive impact. But before to talk about it, we want to better understand what is the state of the art now and from where we are moving in order to develop and improve the procurement impacts. So where we are now.
Yeah, it's a very interesting time right now for procurement because we've come over the last 10 or 15 years and professionalized, and we've got to this point where there's a little bit of a crossroads. Do we kind of consolidate where we are, or do we think, okay, how do we continue to improve, and how do we actually increase our impact that we have in our business? And so because of all the new technology that is now becoming on the scene, there's this question of, can procurement be the one that's in the driving seat to drive that change, or do we let it happen to us because of decisions that are made elsewhere in the C-suite? So when you look across a lot of different companies, maturity level is very different. There's probably a very small number of companies that are really, really mature in procurement, and most organizations out there are still kind of on that journey. So now is a time where really it's an opportunity to grasp technology and the technological changes to drive forward, or it's a risk that if you don't, then you may be left behind and actually technology will replace procurement. So that's kind of the position where the function is today.
You talk about the opportunities coming from the adoption of technologies, but what are the challenges in order to embrace and approach this kind of process?
Yeah, and I'd say technology, I always say technology is not the silver bullet. You have to have people, you have to have processes, really, before you start using technology to complement all of that. I think the opportunity, well, the challenge that we have is that in a lot of organizations, procurement is still just seen as the team to come and help you save cost. So because we've built our profession on the ROI of cost savings, that means that when businesses are in that part of the economic cycle where they need cost savings, they bring out procurement to help to cut costs. And then when the economic cycle changes and cost savings are no longer as important, procurement has a lesser role in the organization. And so really the challenge for procurement is to demonstrate that we can support the business at all stages of the company's growth, rather than just when they need help from a cost savings perspective.
So the role of a chief procurement officer is changing, and today we are talking a lot about technology, digitization, but also sustainability. What are the next trends or the next priorities in order to improve the procurement and to grow the functionality and the strategical point of view of procurement in the business, and maybe in order to help the boards to make better decisions?
Yeah, it's very interesting how procurement, the organizations that are doing, having much more impact within their businesses, the procurement teams that are having much more impact, have really broadened their areas of responsibility. So from cost savings, yes, to risk management, which has been very important the last 2 or 3 years, but then really looking at things, like you said, around sustainability becoming so important for most organizations, and procurement has such a big role to play in that because of, scope 2, scope 3 emissions, lots of kind of, so much of the decisions around sustainability are made by the suppliers and the supply chain that you use. We're also seeing from an innovation perspective, the innovation capability of any company's supply base is far greater than what you can have an R&D function of your own. Even if you're one of the biggest companies in the world with huge R&D budgets, your supply base still does a lot more research and development and innovation than you do. So it's helping to embrace that R&D and that innovation and kind of bring ideas in from the outside, integrate those into, your own business, and procurement's in a really good role to be able to do that.
So last question, what is the best advice that you can give to our audience in order to go through the 10x speed up process for procurement?
To be honest, the first thing is mindset. So it's actually changing the mind, reimagining what's possible for procurement. I think that we're our own biggest enemy sometimes, in that we think about what procurement can do within the constraints of a box. So it's thinking outside that box of what role can procurement really play, setting a vision for that, so then that gives you something to aim at. But the other side is really, aligning what we do with business outcomes. I would say that's one of the biggest challenges as well, is that the way that we're incentivized is very procurement focused. And what I mean is it's like internal to procurement rather than external to what the business needs. And that's really the first step that I talk to a lot of companies about, is you truly need to realign your capabilities with what the business needs, not what you think the business needs, or what business might think they need from you because they only think of procurement as being somebody who saves money.
So, and we hope that they will come to this process in this way. Thank you for your advices and for being with us.
Thank you very much.